Okay, it's going.
Yep.
Okay. Hello. My name is Luciano. I go by Trevor. It's my middle name. Can you see me? Can you see me right now? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. My name is Trevor. My name is Luciano. I go by Trevor. Trevor's a nickname I got as a young kid in elementary school because Luciano was too hard for my classmates to say, so they just gave me the name Trevor. That's also my middle name, but it's definitely not as interesting as Luciano is. Um, some things that make me who I am. Uh, I live in East County, which is like the Santee Lakeside La Mesa area. And when I was younger, I was living in Lakeside predominantly. And then as I got a little bit older, I would live in Spring Valley, La Presa area. Um, Sadly, never learned any Spanish while I lived there, but that's all right. Um, as you were saying earlier, bring up a point that we talked about. Both my parents are split up at the moment. They have been for the last 15 years, and predominantly live at my dad's house now, which is in um, East County, along with my mom's house, who's also in East County. The um, the difficulties of having my parents split up almost my entirety of my life. It was okay in the beginning. It was cool. You have two Christmases, two vacations, to everything, to every holiday, almost two birthdays, almost. But yeah, besides that, it wasn't too great. Um, Being that I used to live in Lakeside, it was pretty difficult for me to get to school because I go to school in the city over. Because in Lakeside, where I was living at a young age, there wasn't really good schools. It wasn't necessarily the best place to be going to school. They didn't really have high academic outputs from the students, and the area was not necessarily the greatest. So I think one of the things that shaped me as a young kid was patience because we'd be sitting in traffic for about 40 minutes at 7 o'clock in the morning every day. And even if we got there early, we'd still sit because that school that I would go to wouldn't start until a little bit later, and my parents would have to go to work a little bit earlier than school would start, so we would just hang out. Um, yeah, I think one of the things that has really taught me patience more than just that, which really I think inspired me to go fishing, was the fact that I would be sitting in the car, I'd be hanging out, or I'd just be not really talking necessarily, just in my parents' presence or my siblings' presence. Um, Contrary to popular belief, fishing is not as slow as people might make it seem. Um, it's actually really fast paced, especially if you do the kind of fishing I do, where you're constantly moving and trying to catch things. You're not necessarily sitting in one spot and just being stationary. Um, yeah, at a young age, my mom would take me fishing heavily. My dad actually got me into fishing when I was younger, and he also got me into sports, soccer, football, and then as of recently, in the last couple of years, I started playing basketball. And yeah, I also played sports in high school. One of the main sports I played was soccer. I also tried volleyball, but then I had soccer that kind of overlapped with it, so it was difficult to play both and to do both. Um, I think that if I hadn't played sports in high school, it probably wouldn't have been the greatest experience for me, being that I was undersized for the first almost 3 years of high school, freshman, sophomore, and halfway through junior year. I was about 5 foot, then I got up to like 5'6" and like 100 pounds. So I was a pretty small guy. And then senior year, I really hit my growth spurt. I got to about then I was 6 foot 170. Now I'm 6'2", 190. So yeah, that helped. That's also what helped me play basketball. Once I got tall, I started playing basketball. Um, some of the things that make me who I am is my complexion and ethnicity. On my dad's side, I'm more of they're Mexican American and white. And on my mom's side, they're black and white. Um, I feel equally comfortable with either side of the family. I don't necessarily have one that I feel more shoved away or exiled from. I feel like I do see my father's side more just because a lot of my mom's side of the family lives in Arkansas, Vegas, Arizona, and on the East Coast a lot more than the family I have here. Um, trying to think. And lastly, I'd like to say that I'm excited for this class. I'm excited for what we're going to get to go through. This is an interesting experience. I've never really necessarily gone on Zoom before, besides when I had school in our high school. Like you had said, you had COVID take over in the beginning of your high school. I had the same thing in my high school where we just had to go online, and I would just be on this computer, or actually a different computer, for about like 4 or 5 hours a day, an hour and a half Zoom. But we wouldn't be doing any talking. So this is, I think it's probably the second time I've ever talked on Zoom for this long. But yeah, that's what makes me me, and I'm excited for the class.
Um, I liked your how you included the part about traffic because I definitely experienced that. And I used to have to drive down from Julian to
Wow.
here every single week before school. So yeah, I can definitely relate there. I also liked how you included fishing. I'm not super well versed in fishing. My grandfather was a fisherman. That's kind of all I am like familiar with, but yeah, I think it's really cool. I can't do it, but you know. And then one thing, mm, I liked your presentation.
Thank you.
Um, I don't know. I don't think I have many notes. So.